made. Shot from deep tonight. Indiana comes quick.
Remember when Cheryl Reeve said she didn't give two shits about Caitlin Clark? Well, guess what? She's singing a different tune now. The Minnesota Lynx coach just couldn't ignore Clark's game-changing performance anymore. What made Reeve do a complete 180? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us.
When she does it that way, just steps right into her big three-point shot.
So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. And those waves, they're not just ripples, they're tsunamis. What could make a veteran coach like Cheryl Reeve eat her words and completely change her tune about a rookie? The answer might shock you. It all went down during a game that'll go down in WNBA history. The Indiana Fever, led by none other than Caitlin Clark, faced off against the Minnesota Lynx. Now, this wasn't just any ordinary matchup. It was a showdown that would force even the biggest skeptics to sit up and take notice. Picture the scene. Fourth quarter, game on the line. That's when Clark decided to show everyone exactly why she's been causing such a stir.
She's 7 of 10 tonight. Clark gets herself free. Clark loses Heidemann and rolls it.
In a display of sheer brilliance, she dropped 10 points in the final frame, leading the Fever to a stunning 81-74 upset victory over the Lynx. But here's where it gets really interesting. Remember Cheryl Reeve, the coach who famously dismissed Clark's impact? Well, she couldn't ignore what she just witnessed. After the game, Reeve did something that caught everyone off guard. She praised Clark. You heard that right. The same coach who said she didn't give two shits about Clark's fan support was now singing a different tune. Reeve highlighted Clark's incredible pace and exceptional passing ability. In her own words, pace and passing I think are her two greatest things. I know the sexier part is probably the logo 3, but the pace and the passing is what makes her exceptional in my mind.
Janelle McCarville would always have like a wireless speaker on her backpack. And
talk about a complete 180, but why the sudden change of heart? It's simple. Talent speaks for itself. Clark's performance wasn't just good, it was undeniable. The kind of play that forces even the toughest critics to acknowledge greatness when they see it. But this isn't just about one game or one coach's change of heart. Clark's impact is sending shockwaves through the entire WNBA. We're talking sellout crowds, electric atmospheres, and a whole new energy surrounding the league. Think about it. When was the last time a rookie generated this much buzz in the WNBA? Clark isn't just changing games. She's changing the entire landscape of women's basketball. Teams are scrambling to market their matchups against the Fever, knowing that a Clark appearance means packed stands and primetime excitement. This is the kind of momentum that can transform a league. It's reminiscent of how players like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird revitalized the NBA in the 80s. Could we be witnessing a similar watershed moment for women's basketball? The evidence is hard to ignore. Attendance is up, TV ratings are soaring, and social media is buzzing with Clark highlights. But it's not just about the numbers. There's a palpable sense of excitement around the WNBA that hasn't been felt in years. You might think Caitlin Clark's just another rookie making waves, but here's the kicker. She's not just changing games, she's transforming the entire WNBA. How? The answer might surprise even the most die-hard basketball fans. Let's talk about the Clark effect. It's not just about the points she's racking up on the scoreboard. Nope. This goes way deeper. We're talking sellout crowds, electric atmospheres, and a whole new energy buzzing through the league. Everywhere Clark plays, arenas are packed to the rafters. Fans aren't just showing up, they're showing out, creating an atmosphere that's more college Final Four than regular season WNBA game. Remember how Magic Johnson and Larry Bird breathed new life into the NBA back in the 80s? Well, history might be repeating itself right before our eyes. Clark's not just a player, she's a phenomenon. She's bringing in fans who've never watched a WNBA game before, and she's giving diehard supporters something new to cheer about. But it's not just about the fans in the stands. The Clark effect is rippling through every aspect of the league. Teams are scrambling to capitalize on her star power. Take the Phoenix Mercury, for example. They're not just promoting their game against the Fever. They're billing it as GOAT versus the Rook. That's right, they're putting Clark on the same level as basketball legend Diana Taurasi. Talk about a marketing slam dunk. This isn't just hypes, it's a potential game changer for the entire league. We're talking about a rookie who's not just living up to expectations, but shattering them. She's not just filling seats, she's filling highlight reels, social media feeds, and sports talk show segments. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Clark effect isn't just about Caitlin Clark, it's about what she represents. A new era of women's basketball, an era where the WNBA isn't just an afterthought, but a main event, where women's basketball players are household names, not just among sports fans, but in the wider cultural conversation. Think about it. When was the last time a WNBA player was generating this much buzz? When was the last time you saw people who've never watched a women's basketball game suddenly scrambling for tickets? This is the kind of momentum that can transform a league. But it's not just about the present, it's about the future. Clark is showing a whole new generation of young players what's possible. She's raising the bar, setting new standards, and inspiring the next wave of basketball talent. And that's not just good for the WNBA, it's good for basketball as a whole. Now you might be thinking, can one player really make that much of a difference? Well, the numbers don't lie. Attendance is up, TV ratings are soaring, and social media is buzzing with Clark highlights. But it's more than just statistics. There's a palpable sense of excitement around the WNBA that hasn't been felt in years. Clark's making waves, but here's the real question. Is the WNBA ready to ride this tsunami? The league's facing a make-or-break moment, and how they handle it could rewrite the future of women's sports. Let's talk about the future of the WNBA. With Caitlin Clark taking the league by storm, we're not just looking at a flash in the pan, we're witnessing a potential revolution in women's basketball. But is the league prepared to capitalize on this momentum? Cheryl Reeve, the same coach who once dismissed Clark's impact, is now singing a different tune. She's not just acknowledging Clark's talent, she's pointing out a golden opportunity for the entire league. Reeve suggested that the WNBA should explore additional ways to monetize the excitement surrounding players like Clark. This isn't just about making money, it's about building a sustainable future for women's basketball. Think about it, when was the last time we saw this level of buzz around the WNBA? Sellout crowds are becoming the norm, not the exception. The Indiana Fever's games are being moved to larger venues just to accommodate the growing crowds. This isn't just a Caitlin Clark effect, it's a glimpse into what the WNBA could become. But here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just Clark. Players like Angel Reese are also drawing massive attention. We're looking at a new generation of stars who have the potential to elevate the entire league. The question is, how can the WNBA harness this energy and turn it into long-term success? One thing's for sure, the league can't afford to sit back and hope for the best. They need to act fast and think big. We're talking about revolutionizing marketing strategies, expanding media coverage, and maybe even rethinking the league's structure. The WNBA has a chance to position itself not just as a niche sport, but as a major player in the entertainment industry. Imagine a world where WNBA games are prime-time events, where players are household names, and where young girls dream of playing professional basketball just as much as boys dream of the NBA. That world might be closer than we think, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. There are challenges to overcome. How can the league ensure that this surge in popularity isn't just a temporary blip? How can they spread the excitement beyond just a few star players? And perhaps most importantly, how can they turn all this attention into a sustainable business model? These are the questions keeping WNBA executives up at night, but they're good problems to have. It's a far cry from worrying about whether people will show up to games at all. The decisions made in the coming months and years will shape the future of the WNBA. Will they play it safe, or will they take bold risks? Will they stick to the old playbook, or will they rewrite the rules of how a professional sports league operates? One thing's for certain, the potential is there. The electric atmosphere in arenas when Clark plays is reminiscent of her college days. But this isn't college anymore. This is the big leagues, and the stakes are higher than ever. The WNBA stands at a crossroads. On one side, there's the path of cautious optimism, of small incremental changes. On the other, there's the path of bold transformation, of seizing this moment and running with it. Which path they choose could determine whether we're looking at a bright new era for women's basketball, or a missed opportunity. Remember when Cheryl Reeve said she didn't give two shots about Caitlin Clark? Well, things have changed. After Clark's game-changing performance against the Lynx, Reeve couldn't help but praise her. The pace and passing is what makes her exceptional. Reeve admitted. But here's the kicker. This is just the beginning. Clark's only a rookie, and she's already turning the WNBA upside down. Sellout crowds are following her everywhere. Reeve even pointed out, everybody knows that the reason why our teams around the league are having sellouts are because Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are coming to town. If Clark's doing all this now, just imagine what women's basketball might look like in 5 years. Will we see a completely transformed league? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. The Clark era is just getting started.